In a world of technological marvels and corporate titans, lived the Li family, renowned for their groundbreaking scientific research. Li Jinwu, a young man with a lean build, sharp, intelligent eyes, and dark, messy hair, fondly remembered those days of idyllic peace, working alongside his brilliant parents, Dr. Han and Dr. Li. Their lab, a beacon of innovation, promised a future where technology served humanity. Little did Jinwu know this very brilliance would become their curse, attracting the covetous gaze of those who sought power above all else. The air was often filled with the soft hum of machinery and the excited whispers of discovery, a sanctuary of intellect and love that felt impenetrable. The tranquility shattered one fateful night. A storm of chaos erupted as armed operatives, led by the ruthless Director Park, a middle-aged man with a muscular build, scarred face, and a cold, calculating gaze, stormed the Li family's secure facility. They sought not only the family's revolutionary energy research, but also their lives. Jinwu, a young man with a lean build, sharp, intelligent eyes, and dark, messy hair, witnessed the brutal efficiency of the assailants, the desperate struggle of his parents, and the chilling glint in Director Park's eyes. Amidst the explosions and screams, his parents made the ultimate sacrifice, creating a diversion for him to escape through a hidden passage, their last look filled with sorrow and a plea for him to survive. The memory was burned into his soul. Presumed dead, Jinwu, a young man with a lean build, sharp, intelligent eyes, and dark, messy hair, vanished into the urban shadows. Years passed, transforming the brilliant but naive scientist's son into a ghost, an avenging specter. He honed his body, mastering combat, stealth, and hacking, transforming his grief into a burning, unwavering resolve. His eyes, once full of youthful curiosity, now held the depth of a seasoned predator. His lean build became more defined, capable of explosive speed and hidden strength. He adopted simple, dark clothing, becoming one with the night. Every waking moment was dedicated to a single purpose: uncovering the truth behind his family's destruction and bringing down the monolithic Kang Group, led by the insidious Chairman Kang, the true mastermind. Jinwu's first move was surgical, targeting a low-level executive within Kang Group known for his illicit dealings. Under the cloak of night, Jinwu, a young man with a lean build, sharp, intelligent eyes, and dark, messy hair, infiltrated the executive's lavish penthouse apartment. He moved like a whisper, every step calculated, every shadow utilized. His goal wasn't violence, but information. He needed to plant a seed of doubt, extract encrypted data, and leave without a trace, beginning the unraveling from within. The executive, a portly man in silk pajamas, was sound asleep, unaware of the silent intruder who meticulously copied files from his personal server, learning about the dark underbelly of the Kang Group. Years blurred into a relentless cycle of pain and discipline. Under the stern tutelage of the old master, Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, pushed his body and mind to their absolute limits. He mastered stealth, hand-to-hand combat, and the use of various weapons. Every scar he earned, every drop of sweat, was fueled by the memory of his burning village and the faces of his lost family. There was no joy in his training, only an unwavering, cold resolve. He was no longer the boy from Eldoria, he was a weapon, forged in the fires of vengeance, waiting for the moment to strike. At last the day came when Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, his frame now honed and formidable, his eyes like chipped obsidian, left the solitude of his training grounds. He wore dark, practical combat attire and a tattered, dark gray cloak that blended into shadows, a phantom emerging from the wilderness. The old master offered a silent nod, a recognition of the transformation. Kale carried no possessions, only the weight of his past and the singular purpose that drove him. The world was vast and dangerous, but Kale was ready to carve his way through it, seeking the ones who took everything from him. His revenge had begun. Kale's first targets were the Whispers, the lower echelons of the Shadow Hand cultists, those who trafficked in secrets and fear in the city's grimy underbelly. He moved through the labyrinthine alleyways and shadowy taverns, a specter barely seen. His presence was a ripple in the darkness, seeking out a particular cultist, a grotesque brute known for his cruelty during the Eldoria massacre. Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, his eyes like chipped obsidian, moved with an almost supernatural stealth, observing his prey, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. The hunt was cold, calculated, and entirely devoid of mercy. The cultist, oblivious, stumbled into a deserted alcove. Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, struck swiftly and silently, a blur of motion. The cultist, a figure shrouded in a heavy, dark hooded cloak with a bone-white, featureless mask, let out a muffled gasp as Kale pinned him against the cold stone, a blade pressed against his throat. There was no grand speech, no dramatic reveal, just the icy demand for information. Kale's grip was firm, his eyes like chipped obsidian, burning with an unspoken threat that promised an agonizing end if the cultist resisted. This was not justice, it was a brutal interrogation. Under the unrelenting pressure of Kale's silent fury, the cultist, a figure shrouded in a heavy, dark hooded cloak with a bone-white, featureless mask, eventually broke. He stammered out fragmented details, naming their shadowy organization as the Shadow Hand and crucially a name that made Kale's blood run cold. Vayne. This was the same name whispered by villagers, a name associated with the tall, commanding figure from that dreadful night. Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, absorbed every word, his mind already piecing together the puzzle. The interrogation ended as swiftly as it began, leaving behind only the cold silence of the alley. The name Vayne led Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, on a different kind of hunt. He delved into the city's archives, bribed informants, and pieced together a shocking profile. Ilias Vayne, a man in his late 40s with a sharp, angular face, slick-back silver hair, and cold, calculating blue eyes, was not a common thug. He was a high-ranking noble, a powerful figure in the city's elite, known for his impeccable taste and ruthless business acumen. The realization that his family's destruction was orchestrated by such an influential man only deepened Kale's resolve. The Shadow Hand's tendrils reached far higher than he had ever imagined. Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, found Ilias Vayne at a lavish social gathering, a stark contrast to Kale's own existence. From a hidden perch on a rooftop overlooking the opulent manor, Kale observed Vayne, a man in his late 40s with a sharp, angular face, slick-back silver hair, and cold, calculating blue eyes, impeccably dressed in a custom-tailored dark velvet suit. Vayne exuded an air of effortless power, laughing and engaging with other nobles, utterly unaware of the vengeance silently watching him. Kale felt a cold fury, seeing his family's murderer enjoying such a privileged life while their graves lay unmarked. It hardened his resolve. Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, began to systematically dismantle Vayne's peripheral operations. He infiltrated a minor Shadow Hand outpost, a dilapidated warehouse in the docks, seeking any tangible links between Vayne and the cult. The air hung heavy with the smell of stale blood and fear. Moving through the shadows, Kale bypassed crude traps and silenced unsuspecting cultists, their bone-white masks doing little to hide their fear. He found ledgers detailing illicit dealings and, more importantly, coded messages that hinted at a deeper purpose behind the Shadow Hand's existence than simple banditry. As Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, searched a back room, a sudden flash of crimson hair caught his eye. A lithe young woman, early 20s, with long, vibrant crimson hair that tumbled over her shoulders and piercing emerald green eyes, clad in flexible dark leather armor, was already at the main ledger, copying information with incredible speed. This was Lyra, a rival operative, her methods as swift and silent as his own. They locked eyes across the room. Kale's chipped obsidian eyes met Lyra's emerald gaze, a silent challenge passing between them. He realized he wasn't the only ghost hunting the Shadow Hand. Neither Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, nor Lyra, a lithe young woman with long, vibrant crimson hair and piercing emerald green eyes, clad in flexible dark leather armor, spoke. Instead, a silent, deadly skirmish ensued. Kale moved to disarm her, assuming her an obstacle, but Lyra was agile, her movements fluid and unpredictable. Daggers flashed in her hands, expertly parrying Kale's attacks. It was a dance of shadows and steel, each testing the other's limits. No blows landed, but the unspoken message was clear. They were both formidable and neither would back down easily. They were equals in the dark. After a tense standoff, Lyra, a lithe young woman with long, vibrant crimson hair and piercing emerald green eyes, clad in flexible dark leather armor, broke the silence. Her voice was low, devoid of fear. "We're after the same snake, aren't we, Ilias Vayne?" Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, cautiously lowered his stance. His eyes, like chipped obsidian, searched her emerald gaze for deceit. Lyra revealed she was tracking Vayne for her own reasons, tied to his family's ruin and a missing artifact. A reluctant alliance formed, forged not by trust, but by the shared desire to bring down a common, powerful enemy. They were two lone wolves, temporarily joining forces. Working together, Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, and Lyra, a lithe young woman with long, vibrant crimson hair and piercing emerald green eyes, clad in flexible dark leather armor, proved a formidable duo. They infiltrated a clandestine Shadow Hand meeting deep within the city's old catacombs. Hidden among the shadows and ancient bones, they listened as Ilias Vayne, a man in his late 40s with a sharp, angular face, slick-back silver hair, and cold, calculating blue eyes, meticulously outlined his plans to a gathering of cloaked cultists. His words spoke of the harvest and a ritual of empowerment, chilling Kale to the bone. This was more than mere power, it was about some grand, sinister design. From the cult meeting, Kale and Lyra pieced together a horrifying truth. Vane's harvest was linked to Eldoria, Kale's destroyed village, not just for its isolation, but for a unique, powerful resource hidden beneath its sacred grounds. Lyra, a lithe young woman with long, vibrant crimson hair and piercing emerald green eyes, had similar knowledge of other remote villages being targeted for their mystical properties. The massacre was a brutal land grab, a calculated act to seize this unknown power. Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, felt a fresh wave of sick rage. His family wasn't just murdered, they were collateral damage in a monstrous scheme for arcane power. A fragmented memory flashed in Kale's mind. His father, a kind man with warm eyes, once spoke of ancient ley lines converging beneath Eldoria, and a faint, shimmering glow that sometimes emanated from the sacred spring. It was a village legend, a tale of prosperity and protection. Now Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, understood. That legend was Vane's target, the resource he spoke of. The cult hadn't just destroyed homes, they had desecrated a spiritual heartland, a place of power. This made their atrocity even more heinous, adding a layer of sacrilege to the already unbearable grief Kale carried. The initial shock gave way to a cold, focused fury. Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, understood that his family's deaths were not merely acts of random violence but calculated sacrifices in a scheme for unimaginable power. This realization intensified his rage, crystallizing his purpose even further. He saw his sister's terrified face, his parents' brave but futile struggle, all reduced to mere steps in Ilias Vane's grotesque ambition. His quest for revenge was no longer just about retribution. It was about stopping a monster who would sacrifice countless others for his own depraved gains. With the full scope of Vane's ambition revealed, Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, and Lyra, a lithe young woman with long, vibrant crimson hair and piercing emerald green eyes, clad in flexible, dark leather armor, began to meticulously plan their assault on Ilias Vane's heavily guarded manor. It was a fortress, crawling with shadow hand cultists and intricate defenses. They meticulously studied blueprints, scouted patrol routes, and analyzed Vane's habits. Their movements were precise, their communication silent. This wasn't just a raid, it was a surgical strike against the heart of Vane's operation, a desperate gamble for vengeance and justice. Under the cloak of a moonless night, Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, wearing dark, practical combat attire and a tattered, dark gray cloak, and Lyra, a lithe young woman with long, vibrant crimson hair and piercing emerald green eyes, clad in flexible, dark leather armor, executed their plan. They scaled the manor walls, silent as ghosts, bypassing laser grids and pressure plates. The sheer opulence of Vane's home felt like an insult, a monument built on the suffering of others. Every guard they neutralized, every alarm they circumvented, brought Kale closer to the man responsible for his family's demise. The air inside was heavy with the scent of expensive perfume and unspoken evil. Their stealth was eventually broken. Patrol of elite Shadow Hand guards, more heavily armed and alert than the cultist Kale had encountered before, intercepted them in a lavish, marble-floored corridor. Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, and Lyra, a lithe young woman with long, vibrant crimson hair and piercing emerald green eyes, clad in flexible, dark leather armor, fought back to back, a deadly symphony of blades and fists. The guards, figures shrouded in heavy, dark hooded cloaks with bone-white, featureless masks, were skilled, but Kale's raw power and Lyra's lightning reflexes proved superior. They cut a path through the resistance, their resolve unbroken. Amidst the chaos of the manor, Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, spotted a fleeting glimpse of Ilias Vane, a man in his late 40s with a sharp, angular face, slick-back silver hair, and cold, calculating blue eyes retreating down a hidden passage. Without a word, Kale broke from Lyra, leaving her to handle the remaining guards. His priority was Vane, his heart hammered not from fear, but from the proximity of his long-sought vengeance. He chased the man who had shattered his world, his every step fueled by years of pent-up hatred, his vision narrowed to one target. Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, finally cornered Ilias Vane, a man in his late 40s with a sharp, angular face, slick-back silver hair, and cold, calculating blue eyes in a hidden chamber beneath the manor, a place pulsating with dark energy. The room was not opulent but functional, filled with strange artifacts and arcane symbols. Vane, seemingly trapped, merely turned, a chilling smile playing on his lips. His cold blue eyes met Kale's chipped obsidian gaze, devoid of fear, filled instead with a disturbing arrogance. "Took you long enough," Vane sneered, acknowledging Kale's presence as if he had been expecting him all along. Ilias Vane, a man in his late 40s with a sharp, angular face, slicked-back silver hair, and cold, calculating blue eyes, began to reveal the true extent of his depravity, his voice dripping with condescension. He explained how Eldoria's ley lines were crucial for his ritual, a means to amplify his own power and ascend beyond mortal limits. He mocked Kale's pain, describing his family's deaths as mere necessary sacrifices, trivial casualties in his grand design. Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, listened, his hands clenching, the chilling indifference in Vane's eyes igniting a white-hot fury within him. There was no remorse, only contempt for the lives he had destroyed. The chamber erupted as Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, lunged. Ilias Vane, a man in his late 40s with a sharp, angular face, slicked-back silver hair, and cold, calculating blue eyes, was not just a schemer. He possessed a surprising, dark power, channeling the corrupted energy of the ley lines. Their battle was brutal and personal, a clash of raw vengeance against dark magic. Kale fought with the desperation of a man who had lost everything, his every strike imbued with years of suffering. Vane, his eyes glowing with unnatural light, reveled in the chaos, confident in his twisted abilities. It was a fight to the death, and Kale felt his family's presence pushing him forward. With a final, desperate surge of power, Kale, a lean but defined young man with short, messy black hair and eyes like chipped obsidian, drove his blade deep, ending Ilias Vane's reign of terror. Vane, a man in his late 40s with a sharp, angular face, slicked-back silver hair, and cold, calculating blue eyes, gasped, his eyes widening in disbelief as his dark power flickered and died. The chamber fell silent, the pulsing energy subsiding. Kale stood over his vanquished foe, panting, bloodied but victorious. The revenge he had craved for so long was finally his, yet it brought no solace, only an aching emptiness. The taste of victory was bitter, reminding him of what he had lost. His quest was fulfilled, but at what cost?